Everybody.
No, that's very true. Do that.
Okay, and welcome to the Village Board of Lake Bluff Board of Trustees meeting, and it is May 13th, 2019. And could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Dewart,
Here.
Trustee Lemieux,
Here.
Trustee Meyer,
Here.
Trustee Toll.
Here.
Very good. Would everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Glad you made it, Steve.
No tardy slips.
Yeah, I think I still have a couple of tardy slips somewhere. All righty, we have the consideration of the minutes of the April 22nd, 2019 Village Board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lemieux. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this point in time, it's the board sets aside 15 minutes for anyone to speak from the audience on anything that is not on this evening's agenda. Do we have anyone that may like to speak on something that is not on tonight's agenda? All right, hearing none. We have the village finance report for May 1 through 15th, and April 2019 payroll expenditures. So we have expenditures of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $550,875.58 for May 1 through 15th, which expenditures of village funds for payroll in the amount of $296,788.97 for April 2019, which are total expenditures of $847,664.55. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dewart, and a second.
Second.
A second by Mr. Lemieux. Any questions for the Director of Finance? Okay.
Home free.
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Dewart,
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux,
Aye.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Okay. All righty. We have at this point the Treasurer's Annual Report of the Police Pension Fund. Attached that you all have is a copy of the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2019, the annual Treasurer's Report that will be submitted to the Police Pension Board at the next quarterly meeting. The Illinois complied statutes require that a copy of the reporting be filed with the Village Board by the second Tuesday of May each year. Also included as required per Illinois Pension Code is the annual payment register of all expenditures during the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2018 and ending April 30th, 2019. Do I have a motion for receipt of this?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dewart, and a second, please.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lemieux. Any questions or things of our treasurer, director, finance director for this?
Remind me, we've got a plan to accelerate the funding of this pension fund, to try to get it to a certain level? I
So
thought we did.
I've talked of a plan
Okay.
insofar as taking the rolling period and changing it to a 15-year rolling period for the contributions and leveling it off at 80% so that the funding stays the same
Right.
for a period of time instead of what the state has as a minimum requirement. But we
Okay.
haven't brought it up to the finance committee yet.
Okay, so we're funding this at the statutory level, we're not,
We are exceeding the statutory
I
level.
thought-
We're
that's kinda
funding it
what I'm
at an
thinking.
actuarial level based
Okay.
on what our actuary calculates. But
Okay.
in addition to that, I'd like to revisit and look at even
Okay.
a different approach that.
okay.
And what I left for you at the chart is just the funding ratio along with the investment rate of returns, just for comparison over a 20-year period, so that you can see if the tie between the market and somewhat the rates. But there are other things that would affect the funding ratio as well, that being state changes to mortality tables and the open rolling period, and
Okay.
things that they've done over the years.
Sure. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to the village administrator's report. I think you're going to talk about the farmer's market.
Yes, it's that time of year.
It is.
I want to introduce, this is the village's intern. This is John Scopoletti. John has been working for the village for over a year now. He's getting ready to enter the second year of his graduate school program at Northern Illinois University in Public Administration. John has been an exceptional helper for our village here and has been recently recognized by the Illinois Association of Municipal Management Assistants, which is essentially the Assistant City Manager Association, for his efforts as an outstanding intern member of IAMA. So congratulations, John, on your award. No pressure, John, but we're 1 for 1 on interns getting good jobs leaving here, so.
I'll continue that.
Okay.
Thank you for the warm
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. As you know, we're 25 days away from the 2019 season of the Lake Bluff Farmers Market. Again, it's going to be running from June 7th to October 11th from 7 a.m. to noon. In your memo, you have a picture, which is one of the artwork that was designed last year by the artists on the Bluff. This was chosen by the Farmers Market Committee, and the art was provided by Beth McKenna. For publicity for the market this year, we cut back our advertising compared to our 2018 season due to last year being the 25th anniversary, and it was very successful. This year, we're focusing on the Lake Forest Leader, along with having any advertisements in their summer fun guide that they produce, and we'll also be using Facebook ads. For our sponsorship, we'll be using Knaus again. They've been a consistent sponsor and a very great sponsor. For vendors, we have the same amount as our 2018 season, which is on the second page of your memo. We have 30 vendors. 24 vendors are returning from our 2018 season. Of those 24, 2 are new vendors that were a part of 2018 that came back again. For 2018, just a quick synopsis, we had 31 vendors accepted last year, 27 were returning, and 4 were new. Those 4 new of the 4 new vendors from last year, none of them have returned for the 2019 season. So our 6 new vendors this year, we have Adams Acres, Olanos and Pinatas, Swing Belly Farm, Up in Smoke Creations, Root and Sky Farm, and Glass All Naturals. And there's just a brief description as to the products that they produce. And one last note, for 2019, we still have 2 applications pending, so we have the opportunity to possibly have 31 to 32 vendors this year. And those 2 are Blissful Brownies and Lake Forest Farms. So we'll see what happens with those 2 vendors. For special events and entertainment, we're keeping the same as we had for 2018 season with musical entertainment. We have 6 musicians that produce during the duration of the market. 4 of them are collegiate musicians that only go from June to August, and then after that we have our adult musicians that fill in, but they all vary throughout the year and mix. We also have RC Juggles, Master Gardener, which is through the University of Illinois Extension, and then we have the Lake Bluff Library and their story time, and then the Fire Department Corn Roast, which will be beginning at the beginning of August. And that would conclude my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Blissful Brownies, is that anticipation of the?
Don't you dare.
I have no comment for that.
Smart man.
Very good.
Last meeting, this could be funny.
Anyone else have any comments or questions? Thank you, John. We're looking forward to another great year with the
Thank you.
farmers market. Appreciate that. Mr. Village Attorney, do you have anything else you'd like to discuss?
I do not. No, that concludes my report.
That includes your report. Okay, thank you. Village Attorney's report.
No report tonight.
Village President's report. I'm going to ask for the appointment of Ed Richardson to the Senior Resources Commission, And that's subject to the consent of the Board of Trustees. The village president appoints members to the village's various advisory boards and commissions. The village, I recommend the appointment of Ed Richardson to fill the last vacancy on our Senior Resources Commission. And if approved, Mr. Richardson's term will expire on April 30th, 2021. If you all approve him tonight, which I'll ask for a minute, he will join another senior citizen, no pun intended, Mr. Dewart, who, as he's leaving us tonight, but going to serve on another commission for us. We appreciate that. Do I have a motion to appoint Mr. Richardson?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Lemieux, and do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Toll. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that is done. The other thing I would mention, a couple of other things. I would like to compliment our superintendent of schools, Jean Sophie, for her recognition regionally as Lake County is Superintendent of Distinction, which is an honor not only for her, but it is also for our school district and our entire community of Lake Bluff. So we're very pleased for her. The other one is do not forget that Memorial Day is on Monday, May 27th at 9 a.m. on the Village Green. And we will be honoring our dead. So if you would come, we think that would be great. This is a tradition that was carried on for many, many years by our American Legion Post 510, and when they had to merge with Lake Forest, the village and the Lake Bluff History Museum have taken that over. All right, so that's all I have on that. We have the consent agenda, which includes the correspondence, which was delivered to the Village Board of Trustees and informational reports on April 19th, 26th, and May 3rd. And we have a resolution approving an amendment to a professional service agreement with William A. Shellhouse for services related to the recording and broadcasting of public meetings. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dewart. Any comments or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, I'm sorry. Roll call.
Trustee Lemieux?
Aye.
Trustee Meyer?
Aye.
Trustee Toll?
Aye.
Trustee Dewart?
Aye.
Okay. All righty, we have item number 12, which is a resolution approving a site plan to add planter boxes at the community church at 117 East Scranton. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second.
That was Mr. Toll, and second by Mr.
Mr. Lemieux and Mr. Dewart.
Okay, Mr. Lemieux, do it. Thank you. All righty.
I'd just like to make one comment, as I do about any business that happens with the community church. I do attend the community church, however, I have no financial interest in these planter boxes. And the fact that I do attend has no bearing on my decision to approve or disapprove them.
Well, we thank you for that clarification this evening. Okay. And Dylan Burns, and Mr. Burns, by the way, is here this evening if we have any questions for him. Dylan Burns is proposing to construct cedar planter boxes for the community church as an Eagle Scout project. The planter boxes would go along the north side of the parking area with a low planter box in front of the brick wall, with 5-foot-tall planters in front of the arborvitae and a gate in between. The Architectural Board of Review considered these exterior changes at their May 7, 2019 meeting and voted 5-0 to recommend approval. ABR members noted it's important to have the vertical planters fastened to prevent them from tipping over, and staff will review design to make sure this is done. Did I get a motion on that one? I did, okay. Mr. Burns, I understand you are here this evening. Are you? Okay. Did you have anything that you would like to add this evening as part of your Eagle project? Mr. or Master? Master Burns. You want to come on up? Come on up. I don't mean to, come on up. Sir? First of all, we think it's a great project, anything that benefits our community. What made you think of the project?
So, like you said earlier, I needed the requirement for my Eagle Scout rank, and I also attend the community church. And so I talked to Zach Hancock, who is the minister there, and he said that a good project would be to have some vertical gardens over at the office.
So how long has it taken you to construct them?
Well, we're actually gonna have a work day on planning on having it on June 1st, so we're gonna construct it then. So,
Okay, and all this is in preparation for your Eagle Scout ceremony.
yes.
When's that going to be, do you know?
I have
No idea, at some point in time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We thank you for what you're doing for your Eagle Scout project, but also for what you're doing to serve the community. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
So you have a
Okay.
motion in a second.
I've got a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux.
Aye.
Okay, we now have a resolution approving a professional engineering service agreement with Baxter and Woodman Incorporated for the Phase 2 design agreement for Green Bay Road reconstruction project. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second, that was Mr.
Meyer.
Mr. Meyer.
Thank you very much. The village plans to pursue federal funding through the Surface Transportation Program, STP, for the reconstruction of the village-owned segment of Green Bay Road from the intersection of Green Bay Road and State Highway 176 to the southern village limit. The next round of STP funding is expected to be opened in January of 2020, and having Phase 1 and 2 completed prior to that time will make the project more likely to receive funding. If the project is awarded STP funding, 80% of eligible construction project costs will be paid with federal dollars, with construction likely to occur in 2021 or 2022. The project scope includes a full reconstruction of the roadway, new curb and gutter, significant storm sewer and sidewalk work, and smaller amounts of sanitary sewer and water main work. Work on the bridge over the Union Pacific Railroad track is excluded from this project and has been budgeted separately. The village has received a letter of commitment for STP bridge funding for the bridge project and intends to have the bridge project constructed at the same time as the street reconstruction to avoid multiple lengthy closures of Green Bay Road. The village has hired Baxter and Woodman to do the Phase 1 study for the reconstruction of Green Bay Road in July of 2018. Phase 1 is nearing completion, and Phase 2 is due to start in order to maintain the project schedule. The village requested and received a proposal from Baxter and Woodman to perform the Phase 2 engineering services for the project for a fee not to exceed $140,000. The FY20 budget contains $180,000 for the remaining portion of Phase 1 and all of Phase 2 of the project. The budgeted amount is adequate for the completion of both phases. It is recommended the board approve the Phase 2 proposal from Baxter and Woodman for the amount not to exceed $140,000. Did I get a first and second?
Yes, you may.
I did. Are there any questions, comments from the board for our engineer? Hanson?
Just one brief one. Phase 1 came in within budget?
It's not done yet, but
Not
it is looking like it will. We're waiting for environmental approvals from Springfield, which are taking a long time.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
All right, we have a resolution approving a professional engineering services agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering, Bath and Tennis Club Road Storm Sewer Improvements Project. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dewar, a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. Bath and Tennis Club Road has experienced frequent flooding in a confined low spot approximately 300 feet east of Green Bay Road. The rear yards of the homes between Green Bay Road and Forest Hills Road drain to the north to Bath and Tennis Club Road, and the volume of runoff overwhelms the existing storm sewer. Water collects on Bath and Tennis Club Road and then overtops the curb and flows north towards the home at 100 Boardman Court. This home has flooded repeatedly in recent years. As a part of the ongoing village-wide storm sewer study, the village asked Christopher B. Burke Engineering to examine this area and determine what improvements would be needed to meet the village's standard of eliminating street flooding during a 10-year storm and house flooding during a 100-year storm. It was determined that increasing the storm sewer size on a portion of Bath and Tennis Club Road from a 12-inch pipe to an 18-inch pipe would meet the village's drainage standards. The village requested and received a proposal from Christopher Burke for the engineering, design, and bidding assistance of the Bath and Tennis Club Storm Sewer Improvement Project in the amount not to exceed $25,000. The village's FY 2020 budget includes $25,000 for the design and construction of the project. Construction of the project is intended to be budgeted in FY 2021. And the village engineer does recommend approval of this contract with Christopher Burke for $25,000. Any questions for the village engineer from any of the trustees?
I just want to add that's a typo. The 25,000 is just for the design.
Just for the design?
construction will be budgeted the next year.
It did seem a tad low, but we could
Very
always,
good
we could
price.
always hope.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much for the correction. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dewar,
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux,
Aye.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
We now have a resolution rejecting all bids for the Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Meyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. On Friday, April 19th, bids were opened for the village's Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects. 5 bids were received. After reviewing the bids and consulting with the village attorney, the village engineer believes it would be in the best interest of the village to reject all bids. The village engineer is recommending that all bids be rejected for this project. Any questions and things for the village engineer on this? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Lemieux,
Aye.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll,
Aye.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing the execution of a construction contract with Campanella and Sons of Wadsworth, Illinois, for the village's Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects and approving the waiver of competitive bids. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dewar and a second.
Second.
A second, was that Mr. Meyer?
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you. In April of 2018, the village board approved contracts for the design of storm sewer improvement projects on Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place. The project locations have been identified as not meeting the village drainage standards of avoiding street flooding during a 10-year storm and house flooding during the 100-year storm. The projects were designed and competitively bid. The village rejected the bids received for the project, and village staff is recommending waiving competitive bidding and awarding a contract to Campanella and Sons in the amount of $852,347.42. The pricing is in line with the current market, and village staff believes awarding the contract to Campanella and Sons is more advantageous to the village than rebidding. The village's FY 2000 budget contains $1,030,000 for the projects. The village intends to spend a portion of the remaining budget by executing an agreement for construction engineering services for the project for a fee not to exceed $77,395. Staff recommends the village board waive the competitive bidding process for this project in accordance with Section 4.5 of the Village of Lake Bluff's Purchasing Policies and Procedural Manual, and award a contract to Campanella and Sons Construction in the amount of $852,347.42 to complete the projects. Do we have any questions from the trustees? Hearing none, this is a roll call, please.
Trustee Meyer,
Aye.
Trustee Toll,
Aye.
Trustee Dewar,
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux.
Aye.
We now have a resolution approving a professional engineering service agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering for the Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Lemieux and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Meyer. The village requested and received a proposal from Christopher B. Burke Engineering to provide construction engineering services for the Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects. Christopher Burke prepared the construction and bidding documents for the project and has qualified personnel to perform the construction observation services. The proposal is for a fee not to exceed $77,395. The village's FY20 budget includes $1,030,000 for the Lincoln Avenue and West Sheridan Place storm sewer projects. The sum of the construction contract and the construction engineering proposal is $929,742.40, which is approximately $100,000 less than the budgeted amount. It is recommended that the board approve the proposal from Christopher Burke for an amount not to exceed $77,395. Any questions regarding this? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Number 18, which is a resolution appointing Walter Michael Hosking interim village police chief and approving an interim village police chief agreement. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Meyer, and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. Immediately following Police Chief David Belmonte's retirement notice, the village initiated a recruitment process for a new police chief, which was not anticipated to be completed until mid-May, making it necessary to appoint an interim department manager. With over 35 years of exemplary public safety management experience as the former Director of Public Safety of the Lake Forest Police and Fire Departments and Deputy Chief of Police for the Village of Lake Bluff, Walter Michael Hosking was appointed to serve as Village Police Chief on an interim basis for a term beginning on February 27, 2019, and ending May 31st, 2019. The search has largely concluded, and despite great interest, 77 resumes from 14 states, the process did not yield an ideal candidate. Fortunately, and we do mean fortunately, interim Police Chief Hosking has agreed to stay on as Chief of Police for an extended period until May 31st, 2020, which will permit the village to begin a new search in the first quarter of 2020. Consistent with the initial interim police chief agreement, the attached employment agreement provides interim police chief Hoskins no pension benefits, but a payment rate equivalent to an annual salary of $150,000 and certain benefits consistent with other village department heads and public safety managers. Pursuant to Section 1-6S-1 of the Lake Bluff Municipal Code, the village chief of police is appointed by the village president upon the recommendation of the village administrator by and with the approval of the Board of Trustees. Did I get any questions here regarding this appointment? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dewar.
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux.
Aye.
Trustee Meyer.
Aye.
Trustee Toll.
Aye.
Chief Hoskins, thank you very, very much for continuing to serve in your most exemplary manner for the village of Lake Bluff. We appreciate it very, very much. Right, we have now number 19, which is a resolution approving an amendment to the village administrator's employment agreement. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toll, and do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Meyer. On January 1st, 2008, Village Administrator Irvin commenced his employment with the village and became the 7th village administrator since 1962. In accordance with Section 4 of the employment agreement by and between the Village of Lake Bluff and Village Administrator Irvin, the President and Board of Trustees have conducted a performance review and determined that it is in the best interests of the village to adjust Mr. Irvin's compensation to be consistent with the village's official pay plan and to recognize his organizational contributions during the past performance review period by adjusting Mr. Irvin's annual salary to $221,183.04. This is the 8th amendment to the village administrator's employee agreement since 2008. Questions? This is a voice vote, so all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Should be a roll call.
Yeah, that's why I had on here a voice vote. Oh, somebody makes a mistake. Okay,
But it's unanimous, so the clerk
can do that, okay,
can, it is a roll call vote, everybody voting aye.
Okay.
okay. Number 20 Why don't I seem to, you have a copy of this?
Sure, here.
Right there, thank you. Which is an ordinance amending Title III of the Village of Lake Bluff's Municipal Code and the comprehensive fee schedule concerning liquor licenses for tastings and fees and eligibility for a Class AA civic event liquor license. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dewart, and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lemieux. Okay, also there is a request to waive second reading and approval of the ordinance. So let's go here. Tolado Wines International, which is a locally headquartered wine importer and broker, has requested to participate in the 2019 Downtown Block Party Series by providing tastings to visitors in conjunction with the sale of their products by the Lake Bluff Brewing Company. Section 3-2-20 prohibits the giving away of liquor with certain limited exceptions for tastings. However, these exceptions would not allow Tolado to proceed as requested, as Tolado does not, and is not required to, hold a village liquor license to conduct their business. And Section 3-2-20 only authorized the brewery to conduct tastings of beer and not wine. During staff review of the ordinance, additional technical issues were discovered concerning the application fee and eligibility to receive a Class AA license, which is used for the Downtown Block Party Series and other village special events. As written today, only businesses with an officer residing in the village could receive a Class AA license. Staff recommends that these issues be corrected at this time. Now, the attached draft ordinance would, 1, create a new class of license with no fee that would allow the conduct of tastings pursuant to statute, which would also incorporate a statutory limitation upon the volume of tastings provided to one person on one day. Clarify language concerning eligibility and application fees for a Class AA civic events license. Now, the waiver of second reading is requested. Absent the waiver and due to the cancellation of the board's regular meeting that would occur on Memorial Day, Tolado would be unable to participate in the Saturday, May 25th and Friday, June 7th downtown block party dates. There are 5 downtown block party dates in total, as well as the Lake Bluff Criterion race. Tolado has, though Tolado has not committed to participate in the Criterion. Are there any questions or anything from members of the trustees? Hearing none, and we're very happy to hear that Tolado is going to participate in community events as being a rather prominent business within our community. So we'll do this on the first, and then the second, we can do that on the
The
second.
voice vote one?
Voice vote is
reading,
first reading, roll call, second reading.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
All righty, to waive second reading.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dewart, and a second.
Second.
A second by Mr. Lemieux, and we'll need a roll call for that.
Trustee Lemieux?
Aye.
Trustee Meyer?
Aye.
Trustee Toll?
Aye.
Trustee Dewart?
Aye.
At this time, we have trustees' reports. Do we have any trustees that would like to speak this evening?
Well, I will point out that I'm pleased to welcome first of all, pleased to welcome my family here tonight, and I thank you for your continuing support through my 2 terms. It's been a privilege to serve the community, a privilege to serve the faculty and staff, administration and staff here at the village, and certainly a privilege to have served with a distinguished group of folks on the board. And my life and my experience have been enriched by this, and I thank you a great deal.
So I had expected Mark to go on for longer, so I was going to say my marks are going to be very brief.
Something
because
about
I'm following
brevity,
Mark.
Paul. I could probably gin up a few more minutes if you need me to stall.
So, yeah, I would just echo that. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve. I know that, probably without exception, volunteers always say that, and so it sounds trite, but it is heartfelt. It has been an honor to serve. We've got a wonderful community, and it really is an honor to sit in this role. I'd like to thank Kathy O'Hara for giving me the opportunity to serve on the board a second time, even though she threw Eric Renier and I into the meat grinder called short-term rentals. It was a short honeymoon. But my decision not to run again in 2005 was difficult. The battle of home rule and getting the parade committee off the ground kind of consumed my time, and I decided I didn't have the bandwidth for another 4 years, so it was nice to be able to step up to the bar and do this again for a shorter period of time. Like Mark, I'd like to thank my fellow trustees. Very dedicated, diligent, well-educated, well-intentioned. I know that we didn't always agree on everything, but there were numerous times when I came here not knowing entirely how to think about an issue, and I always found the discussion very additive. I always felt like we thoroughly covered things, and I'm very pleased to be part of this group, and I am confident that it's in good hands as I step away. I'd like to recognize village staff. Drew, you and your staff are phenomenal. I'm constantly amazed at the depth of your knowledge and dedication and positive attitude. Phenomenal staff, really tremendous. And it is all the more impressive when you kind of look behind the curtain and realize how few people really are doing all this work. And I'd also like to just thank the other volunteers in the community. This community runs on the backs of volunteers, and it is a privilege to have been one of them.
Thank you. Okay. We now ask for adjournment in my Latin, since as 40 years ago is a little, actually it's 50 years ago, is a little slum. It's sine die.
Sine die.
Whatever. I did get an F plus in class. Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dewitt. And a second by Mr. Lemieux. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So now, the old board is no more, and we will be instituting a new board. So we have, and ask them to come up to the dais up here. What, I'm gonna do that and shuffle?
Yep.
Don't go away yet. We're not done. And I'm mindful of your appointment at Mavery's, your reservation at Mavery's, so I'm working on that quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam Trustee, ready? Start with you, Joy. Come on up over here. Would you raise your hand? Thank you, and repeat after me. I, Joy Marquis,
Joy Markey,
having been elected to the office of village trustee
having been elected to the office of village trustee
in the village of Lake Bluff in the county of Lake,
in the village of Lake Bluff in the county of Lake,
aforesaid, do solemnly swear
aforesaid do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign here, and you will sign right there. I get your next 10 paychecks. Thanks. Okay. Welcome to the
Thank you.
board.
Thanks.
Okay. And we now, Mr. Charlot. Would you raise your hand? Thank you. I, Regis Charlot,
I, Regis Charlot,
having been elected to the office of village trustee
having been elected to the office of village trustee
in the village of Lake Bluff and in the county of Lake,
in the village of Lake Bluff in the county of Lake,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
to solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're not official till you sign.
We just-
Sign here, and then take your place. Everyone gets excited. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I, Megan Michael,
I, Megan Michael,
having been elected to the office of village clerk
having been elected to the office of village clerk
in the village of Lake Bluff in the county of Lake,
in the village of Lake Bluff and the county of Lake,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village clerk
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Nice pen.
Do you want to stay there for this?
I will. Okay, let's, got me this here. Got everything ready? First of all, I would like to say that it has been a privilege to know and to work with Mark Dewart and Paul Lemieux, two of the finest residents and citizens of this community who have spent years giving of themselves and their expertise to this village in a variety of numerous volunteer positions. This has also been a wonderful board to work with. And these two gentlemen have made it a great part of that. And I have great hopes for our new board. We don't always have to agree, but we always laugh afterwards. And we get along so well. As you can see, we're so many groups sometimes have issues. And we've always been able to settle ours, discuss it, and we agree on the fundamentals of what this community should be. And we thank you very, very much for staying here and helping us out. It does not mean that you're going to get away from everything, because, you know, I know where you all live. So let's just start here tonight. I have a resolution. Gentlemen, could you come up?
Oh, Kathy, you have to call the meeting to order, sorry.
Oh, I have to call the meeting to order?
And then call it.
That's what I thought I did. Okay. All righty, okay. We have a new board, and I would like to call that meeting to order. And this board is the new Board of Trustees, and it is May 13th, 2019. And could I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Charlo.
Here.
Trustee Markey.
Here.
Trustee Meyer.
Here.
Trustee Toll.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Now we can get to the business here. Okay, Mr. Dewart and Mr. Lemieux. Mr. Dewart, we'll start with you. Could you come up, please? Thank you. Whereas Mark Dewart has resided in the village of Lake Bluff since 1982 and was first elected to the office of village trustee in 2011 and again in 2015. And whereas through his dedication and passion for the community service, Mark Dewart has served in numerous leadership roles, including chair of the Village Board Finance Committee, alternate director to the Central Lake County Joint Action Water Agency, Village Board liaison to the Multi-Jurisdiction Fire and EMS Task Force, chair of the Village Quasqui Centennial Committee, administrative board president and trustee of Grace United Methodist Church, president and board member of Lake Forest Lake Bluff Rotary Club, board member of the Lake Bluff History Museum, chairman of Gorton Community Center and Foundation, and president of the Lake Bluff Community Development Association. And whereas Mark Dewart sought to promote integration of the village's strategic plan for all aspects of village administration and planning, balance effective community services and village income sources, sustain and enhance a diverse local economy to maintain a balance of housing alternatives to ensure the viability and vitality of our community, support intergovernmental cooperation to constantly assess cost efficiencies among local municipal, park, and educational entities, and to support open housing developments including Stonebridge, Bath and Tennis, and Lansdowne subdivisions. And whereas Mark Dewart has been a steward of village resources and strengthened the financial stability and independence of the village by making numerous contributions to the village's fiscal policies, processes, and practices, including supporting multi-year budgeting, maintaining the village's AAA bond rating, saving taxpayers approximately $95,000 from refinancing of the 2004 bonds in 2011, and updating the village's investment and cash management policy. And whereas Mark Dewart strived to maintain and manage the historic and architectural preservation of the village by encouraging the designation of landmark status upon structures, buildings, sites, and landscapes at the local, state, and national levels. And whereas Mark Dewart cultivated environmental stewardship through the village's pioneering approach to household waste management, establishment of recycling protocols for construction, local demolition, and debris, as well as new offerings for residents for clothing and textile recycling. And whereas among Mark Stewart's many contributions were his efforts to bolster economic activity and fortify our public assets and systems by supporting economic development agreements and plans for the target development, encouraging redevelopment as prescribed by the Waukegan Road Corridor Plan, ensuring the future competitive advantage of the village with attracting new residents and businesses through his dedication to the village's branding initiative, establishing planning principles and new development review processes for the central business district, and improving the village infrastructure, water mains, and sewer system improvements. And whereas his sound judgment and proven leadership contributed greatly to the complex matters that were oftentimes before the village board, including the creation of short-term rental, backyard beekeeping, and chickens, keeping pilot programs, and the creation of a new recreational institution and open space zoning district and accompanied regulations. Whereas the family of Mark Dewart, including his wife Sharon, their two sons Stephen, who is married to Shanakina, and John with a daughter, and Elizabeth, has supported and contributed greatly to his services and accomplishments on behalf of the village of Lake Bluff. Now therefore, be it resolved by the village president and board of trustees of the village of Lake Bluff, county of Lake, and state of Illinois, that the village of Lake Bluff hereby recognizes Mark Dewart for his many contributions to the village and its residences, and such recognition and gratitude of the village of Lake Bluff be publicly expressed to Mark Dewart for his services to the community, that this resolution be incorporated with the minutes of the village board meeting, and executed copy of this resolution be presented to Mark Dewart as a token of appreciation for his services to the village of Lake Bluff. And would also like to mention John's wife, and they are expecting the first grandchild, which is, I think, probably one of your biggest accomplishments.
Yes, I was going to ask that the resolution be amended.
Yes,
to
I
include
saw that,
my-
I read that.
My daughter-in-law,
I thought
Sarah.
so, yeah, I don't know how that got left
I'm not
out. It
sure
wasn't me. Can I just throw somebody under the
Sure.
bus on that one?
Sure.
Okay, but we will make sure and correct that so that everybody in the family is recognized. My apologies for that. Okay, well, we have a few gifts.
Okay.
Emphasis on few. Okay, over here, let me see which is which. Here we go. First of all, this is used to be handed out to all trustees. This is, of course, a plaque, but this star, starting in the very, very early 1900s up until through the 50s, every trustee got one, received one of these. Some unfortunately did not use it for best intentions and thought they were police people, so we now just affix it to your plaque. Now, you can't be without a village flag.
Oh.
Guess what? Come on, 4th of July and everything else.
4th of July, absolutely.
Now, not so long ago, soon after you retired, we were holding a special meeting. I think it was the Finance Committee meeting. And we were all here at 6 o'clock. You weren't.
I was cooking at home.
I know, I had to call you.
I know.
You got lost with the time and you were cooking
That's-
something for your wife Sharon, which is admirable, but we were all had been waiting for 15 minutes. And so, we don't want that to happen again.
No.
Not with the Senior Resource Commission or any other thing that we have coming up.
Okay.
So we have undertaken to try to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right.
Would you like to open that?
I can.
Please. Is this been scanned for moms?
Is it ticking?
Nothing like this paper getting broadcast on Channel 19. Comfort in an instant.
And here
So
it is.
therefore, I would only be late by an instant.
Yes, because we have given you your own personal Instapot right here. So any meals from now on should be on time, so that you cannot embarrass the community by being there. Here you are. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you all very much. It's been a privilege to serve the community, Lake Bluff, serve with you, wonderful people on the board, staff and everyone else here. Thanks for coming, Jake. Let me know when the salt contract comes up, all right? Would you do that, Drew? Because I'd love to be here for that meeting. The inside joke is I always ask Jake if we have enough salt for the coming year when he signs up for the contract. It's kind of a running joke after about 8 years. So, but thank you once again. This is really cool. Thank you very much. It's great to get my own star finally. I got to figure out how to get this off the plaque and into my wallet. But thank you all again. It's wonderful.
So President O'Hara, you need a
Are a
motion.
little messy.
President O'Hara?
Yes.
You still need a motion and a second to approve that resolution.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion from my new board here? Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from trustee Marquis and a second from trustee Charlot. Any comments from the trustees? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Let me put that there. Okay, oh, thanks a lot. Okay. Mr. Lemieux, could you come up here, please? Thank you, sir. Whereas Paul Lemieux has resided in the village of Lake Bluff since 1993, and whereas Paul Lemieux served the citizens of the village of Lake Bluff first after being elected to serve as a village trustee 18 years ago, 2001 to 2005, and then by appointment of the village president and board of trustees to fill the vacancy for the unexpired portion of the village trustee's term on August 28, 2017. And whereas through his dedication and passion for community service, Paul Lemieux has served in numerous leadership roles, including chair and member of the village's Board Finance Committee, member of the Village of Lake Bluff Public Safety Committee, Lake Forest Lake Bluff Senior Resource Member and Chair, Lake Bluff Downtown Development Committee member, Lake Bluff Strategic Planning Process Committee member, Lake Bluff 4th of July Parade member and President, Lake Bluff Lake Forest Rotary Club member and Board of Directors, and Lake Forest Lake Bluff Senior Citizen Foundation Board of Directors and President. And whereas through the leadership of Paul Lemieux, the village board has considered many issues of significance and implemented policies and activities for the benefit of the village and its residents, including implementing the 2023 Village Strategic Plan, ensuring public safety, ensuring the sustainability of Lake Bluff, maintaining the essence of what makes Lake Bluff special, increasing the diversity of housing stock, maintaining a civil and constructive discourse as divergent views are aired, minimizing property tax growth, diversifying revenue sources, and his outstanding efforts in regards to the successful adoption of home rule by a referendum of village electors on April 5th, 2005. And whereas Paul Lemieux strives to maintain and manage the historic and architectural preservation of the village by encouraging the designation of landmark status upon structures, buildings, sites, and landscapes at the local, state, and national levels. And whereas among Paul Lemieux's many contributions were his efforts to bolster economic activity and fortify our public assets and systems by supporting economic development plans for the target development, encouraging redevelopment as prescribed by the road corridor plan, ensuring the future competitive advantage of the village with attracting new residents and businesses through his dedication to the village's branding initiative, establishing planning principles and new development review processes for the central business district, and improving village infrastructure, water mains, and sewer system improvements. Whereas his sound judgment and proven leadership has contributed greatly to the complex matters that were oftentimes before the village board, including the creation of short-term rental, backyard beekeeping, and chicken keeping pilot programs, and the creation of a new recreational institution and open space zoning district and accompanying regulations. And whereas Kathy Lemieux has supported and contributed greatly to Paul Lemieux's service and accomplishments on the behalf of the village of Lake Bluff, now therefore be it resolved by Village President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake Bluff, County of Lake, and State of Illinois. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Everybody knows I'm not a sports person. Drew told me the words I'm supposed to use. I'll probably end up forgetting them. But you pitch hitted, you joined in, you've been a player for many, many years, and you will continue to be a player, and I will continue to beg you to help us out when we need it. So that's a little token. Would you open it? I will open it. Thank you.
It's a new village branding paper, too. You notice the colors match.
Nice
color scheme.
thing.
Yeah.
You know that you'll wear this often.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
Number one. I need a motion. Do I have a motion from,
To approve the resolution.
I need a motion
So moved.
to accept the resolution. Hi, somebody. Got it? Thank you.
You have a
Joy got it?
first?
Okay, I have a first from Mrs. McKee.
Second.
Second from Mr. Charles. You guys are getting in the rhythm. This is getting good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you both very much for making all of our jobs a lot better, a lot easier. Thank you. Excuse me. Okay. Give you that. All righty, we are down here. Do we have trustees report tonight from any of our trustees? Anybody want to speak? This is your chance. Okay, that's all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Ms. McKee, Ms. Markey, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Guys, have a wonderful dinner.
Thanks, Isabel, you've done.